안녕하세요. 4차 산업혁명 5주 1차시 시간입니다. 사물 인터넷, The Internet of Things에 대해서 강의하겠습니다. 10년 내에 1000억 개가 넘는 전 세계의 커넥티드 디바이스가 사람들과 소통하고 동시에 기기들끼리도 소통하게 될 것입니다. 이 방대한 상호작용, 분석, 생산의 네트워크는 생산 방식을 다시 정의하면서 우리의 니즈를 파악하고 세계를 바라보는 색다른 관점을 제공할 것입니다. 동시에 분산 시스템은 우리가 데이터와 가치를 만들고 측정하며 분배하는 방식에 도전할 것입니다. 또한 유비쿼터스 센서로 인해 세계는 다른 방식으로 바뀔 것입니다. 예를 들어 마트에는 더 이상 계산원이 없을 것이며 패스트푸드 레스토랑은 10년 전과 비교하여 직원 수가 절반 이하로 줄어들 것입니다. 사물 인터넷을 활용한 비즈니스 모델이 사업 운영을 최적화하고 풀 이코노미, 기업의 정형화된 매뉴얼이 아닌 소비자의 학습 및 변화 요구에 맞춰 개방적 유동적으로 작동하는 경제 활동 형태를 만들어내면서 세계는 우리의 행동 양식을 분석하여 지속적으로 우리의 니즈를 예측할 것입니다. 앞으로 우리는 데이터의 가치에 더 눈을 뜨고 디지털 보안에 더 많은 관심을 두게 될 것입니다. 데이터 흐름은 압도적인 수준으로 치닫게 될 것이며 사이버 보안 위협은 헤드라인을 장식할 것입니다. 하지만 사물 인터넷에는 좋은 잠재력도 많습니다. 개발도상국에서 수위를 측정하는 데 도움을 주고 외딴 지역에서 원격 진료를 가능하게 합니다. 센서, 카메라, 인공지능과 안면인식 소프트웨어가 결합되면서 범죄율도 떨어질 것으로 예상됩니다. 사물 인터넷이 생산의 분권화와 대중화에 도움을 주면서 기술 시스템에 대한 신뢰가 높아질 수 있습니다. 그러면서 많은 사람들에게 새롭고 창의적인 기회를 제공할 것입니다. 하지만 사회와 산업의 기대대로 가치를 전달하기 위해서는 보안 프로토콜의 부재, 제한된 대역폭, 문화적 수용을 막는 장애물, 그리고 데이터 가치와 협업의 기회에 어떻게 대응할지에 대한 사회적 합의의 부재와 싸워야 합니다. 우리의 투자가 결실을 맺기 위해서는 모두의 노력과 협력적 거버넌스가 요구됩니다. 사물 인터넷은 세상을 에워쌉니다. 사물 인터넷은 4차 산업혁명의 핵심 인프라입니다. 데이터를 수집하고 필요에 따라 처리하면서 가공하는 스마트 센서와 커넥티드 센서로 구성되어 있습니다. 그리고 시스템과 사용자들의 의도에 따라 데이터를 다른 기기나 사람에게 전달합니다. 삶의 모든 부분은 더 깊이 서로 연결되고 세계 경제는 새로운 방식으로 관계를 맺을 것이며 급성장하는 기계 대 기계 경제 또한 영향을 받게 될 것입니다. 이렇게 창출된 가치는 운영 효율성을 향상시킬 방법으로 인식되어 우선적으로 공장과 제조업에 쌓일 것입니다. 관련 동영상을 보시겠습니다.
The Internet of Things has the potential to increase global productivity up to 25% by 2025, which could translate to an economic value of $11 trillion. Industries like manufacturing are embracing the potential of the Internet of Things. Many production facilities are already using processes and supervisory control systems with connectivity. The Internet of Things for manufacturing is a family of solutions that combines the capabilities of analytics, cognitive computing, and the Watson Internet of Things platform to drive operational efficiency across the factory value chain. This solution benefits the manufacturing industry in three main ways. First, it helps plants get 100% efficiency out of their equipment by identifying and solving issues before they cause delays. Second, it makes processes and operations cognitive, so plants can produce maximum quality and yield from raw materials and manufactured components. Lastly, it helps plant managers better manage resources, improve worker expertise, and provide a safe working environment. Advances in these three areas define a new wave of connected manufacturing, one that revolves around things, process, and people. Let's take a look at how this works for Simon, the plant manager for an aircraft manufacturer. Simon oversees the production of key components for large commercial aircraft, and his top priorities are meeting production deadlines and producing airplane parts safely and efficiently. One of his biggest clients needs to move up their delivery date by 3 months. Simon and his team use the Internet of Things for manufacturing, which will help them deliver earlier than originally planned. An equipment analytics solution identifies problems with equipment health and performance before they happen and prescribes maintenance procedures so Simon's team can avoid equipment failure and downtime, getting maximum effectiveness out of their equipment. To ensure the components are meeting quality standards along the production line, Simon uses a quality analytics tool to identify variability in the manufacturing process in real time. This allows equipment operators to make adjustments to process parameters based on plant conditions that could affect the quality of production. By monitoring quality in real time, Simon's team can avoid producing faulty components, ultimately saving time and money. Another priority Simon has to account for under a rush schedule is the safety of his plant workers. The Cognitive IoT platform includes worker safety technology that monitors things like exposure to extreme heat or toxic gas, open flames, and operating dangerous machinery. The plant workers wear sensors in their helmets and wristbands that provide real-time alerts on working conditions, activating preventative measures if physical well-being is compromised or safety procedures have not been applied. Because the platform allows Simon to track all of this Internet of Things data in real time, he can be confident that the production equipment, tools, and employees will be able to safely take on an accelerated schedule and make plans to move forward. Once the completed aircraft from Simon's plant is put to use, those manufactured parts continue to generate data over time, data that designers and engineers can use to make improvements and updates to each part in the future. Additional sensors also make it possible for Simon's plant to offer cognitive solutions to the airline to help with ongoing predictive maintenance of each manufactured part. Using the power of the Internet of Things paired with cognitive computing and analytics, companies across all industries will improve the way they design and manufacture connected products. Products that will change the way we work and live.
이런 가치 창출이 가능한 이유는 사물 인터넷의 세 가지 핵심 기능 때문입니다. 첫째는 풍부한 데이터가 스마트 애널리틱스와 결합하게 되면서 더 큰 맥락에서 사건을 인식할 수 있는 새로운 상황 자료를 제공합니다. 또한 개인과 기업이 자산과 장비가 어떤 성과와 실적을 내고 있는지, 또 그리고 기회가 어디에 있는지를 알 수 있게 해주는 기기 성능 데이터를 제공합니다. 또한 사람들이 언제 어떻게 왜 특정 행동을 하는지와 그 영향을 보여주는 사용자 데이터도 제공합니다. 이와 같은 능력 향상 기술은 우리가 현상을 인지하고 의사결정을 하는 방식을 재구성하게 할 것입니다. 사물 인터넷의 두 번째 핵심 기능은 업무의 효율성과 생산성을 향상시키는 기기들의 소통 능력과 조정 능력입니다. 엔드-투-엔드의 자동화와 새로운 유형의 인간-기계 협동은 일상적이고 단순한 업무를 간소화함으로써 더 높은 가치를 지닌 과제를 해결하기 위해 필요한 개인의 창의력과 문제 해결 능력을 강화시킬 것입니다. 행정적, 과제지향적 사고방식으로부터 벗어나게 하는 능력은 사람들이 제품 및 서비스, 아이디어를 형성할 때 좀 더 복합적인 시각을 가지도록 도울 수 있습니다. 세 번째 핵심 기능은 시민들에게 가치를 전달하는 새로운 방식인 인텔리전트 인터랙티브 제품을 만드는 능력입니다. 분산된 센서 네트워크인 사물 인터넷 산업에서는 클라우드, AI, 블록체인, 적층 가공, 드론, 에너지 생산 등과 같은 다른 분산형 기술과 시너지 효과를 낼 수 있는 기회가 존재합니다. 이러한 새로운 기술들이 실험되는 과정에서 그 경제적 재구성의 결과는 놀라울 것입니다. 여기서 IoT 데이터 애널리틱스 동영상을 보도록 하겠습니다.
I'm a solution architect on Google Cloud Platform, and I work on projects with connected devices, otherwise known as the Internet of Things, or IoT. And I want to start with answering definitively a question that often comes up, and that is, do we have a consensus as to what is IoT? IoT is really a period of transition and transformation, and that we have everyday objects, things in our lives, and they serve some primary function. And that at some point, we begin to connect a few of these in this sort of awkward phase where some of them are connected to the network and many aren't. And so it's this transition and more of these things in our lives becoming connected by default. So there's information in the environment all the time, all around us, but it's not really available to us as data. So this information might be something like the speed of a delivery vehicle, the utilization of parking in a city setting is one goal for the Internet of Things, to go from information to insight. Now, most of the data that we deal with today in a big data context is born as digital data. Clicks on a website, application downloads, online commerce transactions, all are born as digital information. But the kind of information we're interested in the Internet of Things is analog, and we need a way to capture that analog information and then locate it to the places where we can work on it with the big data tools. So really, the Internet of Things becomes the set of technologies that are the means to this end. And this is really what I mean here when I talk about an end-to-end solution around IoT.
바로 이 부분이 end-to-end의 자동화를 위해서 IoT 기술을 사용하는 것이 되겠습니다.
There's a number of reasons why people have been held back. You've got to determine and choose some sort of hardware device platform. You've got to pick whether or not to run an operating system and which operating system to run. The networking in the Internet of Things is a lot more varied and diverse. Some of these networks are much more spotty, much more expensive. There's whole new classes of networks being built specifically for IoT applications. You have mobile and cloud application development, each of which are their own sort of complex domains. And all of these devices have the potential to generate a lot of data at scale that might challenge traditional data infrastructure. And then finally, we all recognize that this has to be done securely. All eyes are on the security of IoT. And the good news is by paying attention to it early, we have the chance to design security up front rather than act reactively, which is a lot of what happened with the web.
다음은 IoT 아키텍처의 3요소인 디바이스 게이트웨이 클라우드에 대해서 설명하겠습니다.
And fundamentally, we can recognize three primary components. The device, which is the physical object located in the real world. There's often a gateway, which is responsible for collecting data from devices and relaying it. And then a cloud platform, which is increasingly sort of the nervous system of your business or application, where this IoT data can be combined with other non-IoT data to sort of then render useful insight into your applications.
바로 이 IoT 아키텍처가 교재에서 제시했던 기기 성능 및 사용자 데이터를 제공하는 것입니다.
Now, if we look at sort of other pieces of this technology stack that data touches throughout, going from sort of bottom to top, you'll recognize a bunch of sort of familiar cloud platform technology pieces in terms of pipeline, storage, analytics, et cetera. And across these things that touch data, we recognize a couple of cross-cutting sort of concerns in the areas of device management and security. But a thing might be as small and simple as a tiny sensor located inside a door hinge, or a thing might be as gigantic as an entire oil rig. And these devices might be compound and mapped in sort of a hierarchy where you might have a ship, and on that ship is a pump, and both of those are related to each other, both are things. And how those are graphed is going to really depend on your specific domain model, your domain specialties.
IoT에서는 다양한 종류의 디바이스가 있는데 타이니, 작은 컴퓨터라고 생각하시면 됩니다. 그러나 보통 컴퓨터와 인풋과 아웃풋에서 차이가 있습니다.
You can recognize all the familiar components of a computer inside any IoT device. Fundamentally, it's composed of hardware and software, and it is different than the computers of our everyday lives. Fundamentally, the inputs and outputs are going to be very different and a lot more sort of exotic than the familiar mouse and keyboard and monitor that you have on your computer. For sensor inputs, there's a wide variety of sensors available for gases, infrared, et cetera. But an input might be as humble and simple as a button located in just the right place at just the right time for somebody to signal some event has occurred. Now, not all devices are going to have outputs, but outputs can range as well. So you may have something as simple as a buzzer, simply let somebody know that something's happening. An output can be a gigantic hydraulic lift that can lift several tons. So again, these things are what really define IoT devices as different. Now, communications or comms is really technically just another form of input and output. I do call it out separately because the diversity of radios and radio types and communications available for IoT devices makes communication somewhat of a special case for Internet of Things. Now, obviously, on top of this, you run bootloaders, which run and load an operating system potentially, and then all of your libraries and application software then runs on this device.
IoT에서는 디바이스에서 나오는 정보를 네 가지로 분류합니다. 메타데이터, 스테이트, 커맨드, 텔레메트리입니다. 이에 대한 동영상을 보시겠습니다.
The first is metadata. So this is really information about the device. This is things like a device identifier. It might include a firmware version, location date, installation location and date, etc. Second is state. This is sort of information about the condition of the device, not necessarily the condition of the environment, but it's a current condition of the device. It might be read-only or read-write. It is going to be something that is along the lines of like the set point for a thermostat or some sample rate for a frequency. And so this is not something you're going to be changing and resetting at very high frequencies. Commands are a type of information which indicate some action to be taken by a device. So this is usually done as some sort of handler or a remote procedure call that's running on the device. And these actions are often not idempotent, which means that if you send the same command multiple times, you might not be getting simply the same outcome every time. And you can imagine if you have a command that says, run self-cleaning cycle, and you do that once and now you're clean. If you keep running it multiple times, it's not necessarily going to change the result the same way it changed it the first time, unlike state. And then finally, telemetry. Now, telemetry is really the eyes and ears of the Internet of Things. It's sort of the source of a lot of what we have as the environmental data. And this telemetry can take advantage of that diversity of sensor types I mentioned earlier.
IoT는 여러 종류의 서로 다른 디바이스들을 한꺼번에 다뤄야 되는데 이를 디바이스 매니지먼트라고 합니다.
And this involves pieces of functionality that run both on the device as well as in the cloud. Now, at Cloud Platform, we're pretty versatile in terms of how we work with you to do device management. We have integrations with Brillo and Weave, which you'll be hearing more about later, that handles device management. We work with a number of device management platform partners who take care of all the edge communications and setup and provisioning. And there are a number of open source and sort of do-it-yourself solutions. But no matter which solution you choose for device management, we can recognize kind of the key functions that are achieved. First is you need to provision a device onto the network. It needs to be able to connect to the local networking environment where that device sits. You need to register this device in some sort of registry so you can keep track of which devices you have under management. You need to authorize a device. You need to make sure that you're only speaking to devices that are part of your fleet, and you need to make sure that devices can only reach the back-end systems they're supposed to. You need to monitor and perform operational management across a fleet or groups of devices so that you know that collectively, in aggregate, your entire fleet is performing as you expect it to. And finally, you need to be able to ensure that devices are being up to date. Now, this is not only important for making sure the device is gaining new functions over time and new features, but it's critically important for security, that it's always being maintained with the latest security updates.
다음은 IoT의 컨슈머 example들에 대해서 살펴보겠습니다. 첫 번째 사례는 Nest입니다.
I want to tell you about how Nest has been able to simplify the deployment of connected cameras as part of their ongoing migration from another cloud platform. So today, in the completely regionalized deployment, cameras first must contact a dispatcher in one region before connecting to a home server in another region. And then that data is stored per region. And when it's stored in a single region, it gets copied to other regions for durability and availability. Now, in contrast, the cameras that are now connecting to Google Cloud Platform use our global load balancing service to immediately reach the regional server that they ultimately stay connected to. And the data from that server is stored in services with global storage scope. So they avoid the complexity of needing to synchronize data across regions and get that sort of global availability.
다음은 필립스사의 상황에 맞게 전구 색깔을 바꾸는 사례입니다.
Making objects easy and pleasant to use and easy to orchestrate is something Philips Lighting has done successfully with the Hue color changing light bulb. It's one of the more familiar and sort of widely deployed IoT devices out in the world. Many of you may have one. Now, Philips, with the help of one of our partners, Q42, was able to build and scale the infrastructure to support the Hue application and API on Cloud Platform. This low latency and reliable API is part of the Hue experience.
IoT 게이트웨이는 여러 다른 디바이스들을 한데 연결한다는 점에서 중요합니다.
It comes down to there's a whole class of devices out there that are not able to reach the cloud for one reason or another. And this might be that they do not have any routable connectivity to the internet. For example, Bluetooth is not directly routable to TCP/IP. It might be that they don't have the processing capability to perform the secure HTTPS transport protocol that all of our cloud platform APIs require. It also might be that they don't have the power budget in order to support the networking. They may be very low power. And finally, there are perspectives in a setting that require a device to look at multiple devices in that area and do some pre-computing. So any one device isn't going to give you that local aggregate and pre-processing setting. And that's part of what a gateway can do.
다음은 이동 중의 상품을 모니터링할 수 있는 시스템입니다.
The scenario we've worked on is this idea of tracking the environmental conditions and locations of pallet goods. So this starts with an Eddystone Bluetooth beacon. Now, Eddystone is an open source Bluetooth spec from Google, defines a couple data types that are broadcast over Bluetooth, including an ID as well as telemetry frames for things like temperature or humidity. And the gateway collects these from the Bluetooth beacon and then sends the information up to PubSub. On the gateway is also a developer experience, a sort of a developer UI that you can easily connect various sensors directly to the gateway, and then these automatically gain from this integration to Cloud PubSub. The gateway also runs a set of libraries for doing runtime edge processing. And this is useful when you have networking where you want to be somewhat miserly about what you're actually transmitting on the network to the cloud. So if you can do some degree of edge processing, you can really send up the right quantity and kind of condensed version of information.
다음은 게이트웨이가 여러 상황에 있을 수 있음을 다루는 커넥티비티, 연결성입니다.
The location where this information you're interested in is going to be potentially in who knows what kind of environment. And the world is not blanketed with Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is limited to sort of the places where people are today for the most part. And so one of the ways we're looking at helping extend connectivity to cloud platform through partners
다음은 파리클 IO와 함께하는 흥미로운 프로젝트를 소개합니다.
is with a project we're doing with Particle IO. Now, Particle is one of the more widely used Internet of Things platforms. They've got over 60,000 developers on their platform already. And most recently, they've released the Electron. Electron is a small, powerful IoT device with built-in cellular connectivity. And so this gives you the ability to have this device connect to the cloud in over 100 countries. And we've partnered with Particle to make it easier than ever to pipe data from any connected Particle device directly into Google Cloud PubSub. Now, anyone who's visited Google may have seen these colorful bikes that we have all around campus called G-bikes. And as Google's campus has grown, the G-bike has become this sort of key way that people get from building to building throughout the day. But the team that operates G-bikes for Google has very little visibility into where these bikes tend to go during the day and how they tend to clump and where they are. So working with Particle, we've sort of attached some of these particle electrons to bikes, and we're able to collect the locations of how they move throughout campus during the day. We stream this through PubSub into BigQuery, and then we can run queries that allow us to plot their locations with heat map APIs in Google Maps. And this is really invaluable for that G-Bike team to understand what the usage is and where these bikes are.
IoT에는 여러 종류의 프로토콜이 있을 수 있는데 그 중에 MQTT를 소개합니다.
Has been working on building an MQTT solution on Compute Engine. Now, MQTT as a protocol is well suited for IoT. It has a very low footprint, both in terms of network usage, but also is available as libraries for many small microcontroller devices today. And so what Augusto has done is build a custom MQTT broker that is based on RabbitMQ, and it allows us to focus the protocol translation from MQTT to PubSub, and it lets PubSub, as a managed service, handle all of the durability and managed scale of storage of events. So the Compute Engine, we can focus on using the networking performance and CPU performance, but not necessarily worry about storing all of the events. And this solution allows you to scale this out from pilot to production very cost effectively. Now, what I've been talking about today is how things get solved today. This domain of complexity is all solvable, but it can get definitely better.